Gentlemen, let's start with something many of you may have quietly noticed. Years ago, in your 20s, 30s, even 40s, you could engage in sexual release, whether with a partner or on your own, and bounce back quickly. You might have even felt more relaxed, lighter, and sometimes even energized afterward. But as you move into your 60s and beyond, things can feel very different. Instead of bouncing back, you may feel drained, heavy, or unusually tired. Some men even describe it as their energy being sucked out. So why does this happen? Let's break it down in plain, clear language. First, it's important to remember that your body isn't working with the same resources it once had. As men age, testosterone levels gradually decline. This hormone is like the fuel that supports muscle strength, vitality, confidence, and even recovery after sexual activity. When testosterone is lower, the body may not bounce back as quickly from physical exertion. And yes, masturbation or sex is a form of physical exertion. It takes energy, muscle contraction, and nerve signaling. Second, blood circulation plays a big role. Erections require healthy blood flow. But when you finish, your body shifts. The blood that was concentrated in your pelvic area redistributes. For younger men with flexible blood vessels and strong circulation, this shift is smooth. For older men with stiffer arteries, sometimes narrowed by cholesterol or high blood pressure, the redistribution can leave them feeling temporarily weak or dizzy. It's like standing up too quickly from a chair. Your body struggles to balance the blood flow. Third, the nervous system is at play. Sexual activity activates what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode. But after ejaculation, the body shifts into more of a recovery state. During this time, some men experience a dip in energy and alertness. If your nervous system is already overworked by stress, lack of sleep, or chronic illness, that dip can feel much more dramatic. Now, let's not forget about overall stamina. At 60 or older, your body needs more time to recover from any physical demand, whether it's exercise, yard work, or, yes, even masturbation. Your muscles, joints, and organs are all working a bit harder to keep up. Add in conditions like diabetes, heart disease, or COPD, and the body is already carrying extra weight on its shoulders. So the weakness you may feel after release is not just in your head. It's a real physical reaction linked to hormones, circulation, and nervous system balance. And you're not alone. Many men your age experience the same thing, but very few talk about it. That's why it can sometimes feel like a private problem, when really it's quite common. The good news is that understanding the why is the first step to regaining control. Once you know the causes, you can take steps to reduce the drained feeling. And that's exactly what we'll cover in the next section. Because once you see how hormones like testosterone, dopamine, and prolactin play into this, you'll realize there's a clear science behind your experience. Stay with me, because this is where it gets interesting. Now that we've set the stage, let's go deeper and talk about hormones. Hormones are like little messengers in the body. They don't just control your sex drive, they control energy, strength, sleep, mood, and recovery. When men say they feel wiped out after masturbation, a big part of the explanation comes down to hormones shifting. The first and most important hormone here is testosterone. Think of testosterone as your body's battery. It's responsible for muscle mass, bone strength, red blood cell production, and of course, sexual desire. After age 30, testosterone begins to slowly decline, about 1% each year. By the time you hit 60, that's a big drop. So when you ejaculate, your body is tapping into energy reserves that are already smaller than they used to be. This makes recovery slower and the sense of fatigue stronger. The second key player is dopamine. Dopamine is often called the reward chemical. It gives you that burst of pleasure, motivation, and satisfaction. During sexual arousal, dopamine spikes. This is what keeps you going. But right after release, dopamine levels fall. When that drop is steep, you can feel empty, drained, or even a bit down emotionally. Some men call this the crash.
Here's where the third hormone comes in, prolactin. Prolactin is released after ejaculation and it acts almost like a brake. It calms the nervous system, reduces sexual arousal, and helps you relax. This is natural. It's your body's way of saying, time to rest. But the problem is, in older men, prolactin can linger longer, keeping energy levels lower for hours, sometimes even into the next day. And let's not forget cortisol, the stress hormone. If you're not sleeping well, if you're carrying extra stress, or if your body is fighting inflammation, cortisol is higher than it should be. Cortisol competes with testosterone. That means if stress levels are high, your testosterone response after release may be weaker, making you feel more tired. Finally, melatonin deserves a mention. This is your sleep hormone, and poor sleep throws everything out of balance. If you're going to bed late, waking often, or not reaching deep sleep, your testosterone production during the night suffers. And when testosterone is already low, even small energy drains like masturbation can hit harder. So let's put this all together. Imagine your body like a seesaw. On one side, you have dopamine and testosterone, energy, motivation, recovery. On the other side, you have prolactin and cortisol, relaxation, stress, and fatigue. In youth, the seesaw quickly resets after sex, but in older age, the balance tips more toward the fatigue side, and it takes longer to swing back. That's why you feel the weakness. This is not a sign of failure, it's biology. Your body is telling you it needs more support to handle the same activity you once did with ease. And the truth is, by learning how to balance hormones naturally through sleep, diet, exercise, and smart timing, you can minimize that drained feeling. In the next section, we'll talk about lifestyle adjustments, because hormones may sound complicated, but the way you live each day has a huge influence on how they behave. And I'll share some very practical, easy-to-follow steps that can make a real difference. Stay tuned. You'll want to hear these. We've talked about hormones and why older men can feel drained after masturbation, but now let's get practical. What can you actually do to keep your energy up, support your testosterone, and avoid that crash? The good news is that the answer isn't hidden in a prescription bottle. It's in your daily habits. Let's start with the big one, sleep. Testosterone is made mostly during deep sleep, especially in the first half of the night. If you're going to bed at midnight or later, you're missing the best window for hormone production. Older men need to aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, not just time in bed. That means keeping your room cool, dark, and quiet. Try turning off the TV and phone an hour before bed, and instead read a book, stretch, or listen to calming music. Poor sleep is one of the fastest ways to lower testosterone and raise cortisol. And when that happens, the drained feeling hits harder. Number 2 is nutrition. What you eat fuels your hormones. Diets heavy in processed foods, sugar, and alcohol keep testosterone low. Instead, focus on real food, lean proteins like chicken, fish, or eggs, healthy fats like olive oil, nuts, and avocado, and lots of vegetables. Minerals like zinc and magnesium are especially important for testosterone production. You can get zinc from pumpkin seeds, beef and beans, magnesium from leafy greens and nuts. Staying hydrated also matters because dehydration alone can make fatigue worse. Next up is movement. Exercise is one of the strongest natural boosters of testosterone. You don't need to become a gym rat, but regular movement is key. Strength training with weights, even light ones, tells your body to produce more testosterone. Walking, cycling, or swimming improves blood circulation, which supports energy and sexual health. Think of it this way: motion creates emotion. A body in motion is a body signaling vitality. Just remember, overtraining can backfire, especially if you're not sleeping well. The goal is steady, consistent movement, not exhaustion. Another important factor is stress control. Stress is sneaky. When you're under constant stress, cortisol rises, and as we said earlier, cortisol steals the spotlight from testosterone. High cortisol also makes prolactin linger longer, which can increase that drained, heavy feeling after masturbation. Simple daily habits like breathing exercises, prayer, meditation, or even walking outdoors can lower cortisol. Just 10 minutes of slow breathing or quiet reflection can shift your hormones in the right direction. Now let's talk about timing. Many older men find that when they space out sexual activity, they feel stronger. That doesn't mean avoiding it altogether, it simply means listening to your body. If you feel drained after release, give yourself a recovery period, just like muscles need rest after lifting weights. Some men feel better with a few days between sessions, while others prefer longer gaps. The key is to find your balance and not push through exhaustion. Finally, consider sunlight and vitamin D. Vitamin D acts more like a hormone than a vitamin, and low levels are linked to lower testosterone. Spending 15 to 20 minutes in the sun daily or taking a vitamin D supplement, if your doctor recommends it, can support energy levels and improve hormonal balance. When you add these habits together, good sleep, solid nutrition, regular movement, stress control, mindful timing, and sunlight, you create a lifestyle that supports testosterone naturally. And when testosterone is steadier, the crash after masturbation is much less intense. In the next section, we'll go one step further. We'll talk about mindset, confidence, and how to use this knowledge not just to avoid feeling drained, but to build a stronger, healthier version of yourself. Because this is not just about avoiding weakness, it's about reclaiming strength.
By now, you understand why some older men feel drained after masturbation, and you've seen the lifestyle habits that can make a real difference. But there's one more layer we need to talk about: mindset. Because here's the truth: energy isn't only physical, it's also mental. The way you think about yourself, your body, and your future has a powerful impact on how strong you feel each day. Let's start with confidence. Many men over 60 quietly carry a sense of loss. Loss of energy, loss of strength, sometimes even loss of desire. And when a man feels drained after release, he might start to believe, maybe I'm getting too old for this. But that's not the truth. What's really happening is that your body is asking for balance. If you learn how to listen to your body, how to support it with rest, good habits, and patience, you'll realize that you're not too old, you're simply adapting. And when you adapt well, you thrive. Number 2 is self-respect. Too often, men treat their bodies like machines, pushing them until they break. But your body isn't a machine. It's more like a garden. It needs the right care, the right environment, and yes, the right respect. When you nourish your body with good food, proper sleep, and positive routines, you're showing respect. And respect leads to results. Think of it like this: when you treat your body with care, your body gives you energy back in return. Another important piece is connection. Even though this video is about men's health, we can't ignore the role of relationships. Whether it's with your spouse, friends, or family, connection builds strength. When men isolate themselves, stress grows and energy falls. But when you stay connected, laugh with others, and share your experiences, your body releases feel-good chemicals like oxytocin. That helps balance stress and supports better overall health. Here's another mindset shift that matters. Stop focusing only on what you've lost and start focusing on what you can gain. Maybe you don't have the same quick recovery you had at 30, but maybe now you have wisdom. Maybe now you have patience. Maybe now you're more aware of your body's signals. Instead of fighting aging, learn how to partner with it. This shift alone can change how you experience your energy. Now, let's bring it back to the main point. Masturbation itself isn't the enemy. It's not something you should feel ashamed of or afraid of. The drained feeling happens because of hormones, recovery needs, and lifestyle. If you support your testosterone, lower your stress, and give yourself recovery time, you'll feel stronger. And when you feel stronger, you show up better, not just in intimacy, but in every part of life. Finally, let me leave you with this. Aging is not about decline. Aging is about opportunity. Opportunity to take what you've learned and build a healthier, more intentional life.
You don't need to settle for fatigue or weakness. You can take control. You can make simple choices every day that lead to more strength, more energy, and more confidence. So, if this video has given you something valuable, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who needs encouragement. Hit that like button. It helps us reach more men who are looking for answers. And don't forget to subscribe because we have more real, honest advice coming your way. Together, we can make sure that getting older doesn't mean getting weaker. It means getting wiser, stronger, and more in control.